Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's my pleasure to introduce the 8th edition of the deLIGHTed Talks, which is about good light and good sleep. So I'll thank the Good Light Group and the partner, the Daylight Academy, Luger Research, the International Association of Lighting Designer, and the Society for Light, Rhythm, and Circadian Health to organize this great talk. What we will do today first, so I'll introduce myself and do a small introduction about why is light so important for the circadian rhythm. And then we'll have Dr. Ren Scalott and Dr. Jeffrey Hubbard, who will give a talk, and I'll introduce them a little bit later. So first of all, why is light important? As well, sorry, before I start, you will see the Q&R logo on your screen. So we'll take all the questions at the end of all the presentation. So please write down all the questions you have in the Q&R, and we will read them in the end. Okay, so why is light important? As you all know, we live on Earth, and Earth is rotating at a 24-hour cycle. So we are supposed to live according to the light and dark cycle, which is called the circadian rhythm. So it's a rhythm about approximately 24 hours. How does that work? In our brain, we have a biological clock, which is in the suprachiasmatic nucleus right here. And this clock will give the rhythm to our body. But this clock, if you don't give any what we call Zeitgeber, so external time giver, it will not run at 24 hours specifically. So what we need to do is to give this clock an external output to give to know what time it is. So every morning, when you see the light, your biological clock will be reset, meaning that when it's reset, it will give information through different pathways, and the pineal gland will synthesize melatonin. Melatonin is inhibited with the presence of light and activate when darkness is there. So when your body sees melatonin, we know that it's nighttime, and when there is light, there is no melatonin at all. And we'll talk a little bit about melatonin later. And all these pathways go through a specific cells in our retina. These cells, they are called the retinal ganglion cells, and they go through, or the light through these cells is called the non-visual pathway. So the non-visual pathway is all the effects of light that doesn't impact vision. We have rods and cones for the visual structures, and these specific cells that are sensitive to a specific wavelength, which is 480 nanometers, so the blue wavelength. So every time these blue wavelengths are caught by these retinal ganglion cells, it will send a message to the suprachiasmatic nucleus and then produce or stop melatonin. Through this pathway, the non-visual brain area, in blue here, you can see it here, it will either activate the sleep-promoting neurons or the wake-promoting neurons through direct or indirect pathway, and this you will see a bit later as well. So why is it important? Can we live without lights? There is some experiment that has been done in the 60s. It's Michel Stiff. He decided to spend some days in a cave without any daylight. And what he did, he tells his team when he went to bed and when he wake up. And the team just puts a line here to see when he was sleeping. What we saw after some 60 days is that every day he was going to bed a bit later and waking up a bit later. And this is how we realize that our biological clock is not at a 24-hour cycle. And without light, we cannot really reset the clock. And we just, as we call it, like we are in free running. So we are just delayed every day a little bit more. There is another study for, if you were at another talk a month ago that I presented, it's in 2021. There was 14 people living in a cave, again, without any day and night cycle. And we try to see if there is any synchronization between all these people and if they live on a 24-hour cycle. Just a quick graph to show you. Here in white, that means that all the people are asleep. And in dark, when all the people are awake. Here it's before entering the cave, you see that they all sleep during the night and they are awake during the day. So they are still living on a 24-hour cycle. In the cave, you can see here the same as Michel's chiffre. So every day they were going to bed a little bit later and wake up a little bit later for the first week. And then after that, there is no synchronization at all. Everyone was going to bed when they fell asleep and wake up when they were rested, but no one did that at the same time. So there was no synchronization with them. And as soon as they get out of the cave, with the light, they get synchronized again, where everyone was sleeping during the night, during the night and awake during the day. And you can see it here, outside the cave, so before and when they came out of the cave, they had a cycle of 24-hour.09. And inside the cave, the mean cycle was 31.6. So here you can really see that without light, we can't really live on a 24-hour cycle, and we still need light. We still have a cycle, but we still need light to live on a 24-hour cycle. And why is that so important? So we see our biological clock here, and we have our peripheral clocks. Every time that the central clock is reset with the light, it gives the information to our body to synchronize our body. And that's the synchronization between our internal circadian rhythm and the external time giver. As I said before, when this central clock is reset, we also have this melatonin. So melatonin will increase at night to make you fall asleep, maintain you asleep. And in the morning, when you see the light, there's no melatonin anymore and you wake up. So it's really important here to have a little bit of light in the evening so that melatonin can increase, and a lot of light in the morning so that melatonin stops and we reset our internal clock. So this is important for the natural lights, but we'll see, Renske will explain it as well. With artificial lights, it can also impact how the body sees the light and how the body reacts depending on our 24-hour cycle. If we don't listen to our body, meaning that when we have all the sleep signal and we don't go to bed, or we don't wake up at the time when we are rested, then that's how we have some sleep problems. Or so because we don't listen to our body nowadays, we have a lot of different activities, work or family and so on, and we don't really listen to our body, and that's how it will impact our behavior and our physiology. So now I will introduce Renske that will talk a little bit more about all these effects.